Hershnerrs will carry Big Twist products. Hi, welcome back. As you know, Joann Fabrics is closing. I've made a few videos about this, and I even made a last trip and haul video. And honestly, I didn't expect to go back because when I went, it was several months ago. The liquidation deals were just not great, and I knew that they would have deeper discounts the longer that time went on and the closer to like the final closing date we got. But I felt that the deals were so low when I went the first time that I didn't think that it would be worth it to go back. So when I did my last Joann visit, I think most things were about 20% off, and you couldn't use coupons on top of that at most stores. So I had actually bought a few things online. This was right before their online sales closed, and that was just so that I could use coupons on top of the discounts to kind of make it worth it. But I've been seeing a lot of posts of people saying that their local Joann stores have done big restocks, because last time I went, it was, I think, the first or second day of the liquidation sales and almost everything was gone. But I've heard that there have been big restocks, so I figured it would be worth it for us to do a little actually last Joann trip where we can see if they restocked at my Joann and what the sales are, see if we can maybe pick up some yarn and see if they have anything else that we might want to get. So if you didn't already know, Joann filed for bankruptcy, and this was actually the second time that they filed, and they had hoped to get a buyer to buy the Joann brand and keep it running. However, they did not get a buyer, so they are liquidating all of their stores, and they are having liquidation sales right now, and most of the stores do close, I believe, at the end of this month. So I'll also chat about in this video some great alternatives for Joann products, some other options for places where you can shop to get the things that you usually would get at Joann. And I'll talk about in-person places, online places, we'll chat about all that. But first, so let's head to Joann, check out the sales, and if the deals are good, then maybe we'll do a little haul at the end of this video. Walking up to the store, it was so sad seeing the big closing sign across the front. I've really enjoyed coming here. And they had all of these discount tags in the front of the store so that you could see exactly what the discounts were for each of the different items. And you could see that too as you were walking in the store. They had pretty big signs. Most of them were 50% off, with some being 60 or 70% off, but for the most part, the bulk of the stuff was 50. And I thought that these carts were great and would be really great for organizing craft supplies, especially yarn. And then the fabrics, they had mostly 50% off, but you can see some 60% off in the back there. I didn't even know until now that they sold these diamond art kits, which I love to do those. And I was looking at all of the different ribbon because I really like ribbon in my hair, and having them 50% off, I was kind of stocking up on all of the different cute and floral ones that they had. See, I'm just so excited for the ribbons. They had a lot of cute gardening stuff too. I would say that this is probably their newer stuff that they have, because they would come out with new decor all the time. Obviously, they aren't coming out with a ton of that now, but it was still nice to see things that I hadn't seen before, especially this bird feeder teacup. Look how cute it was. And then I finally made it over to the yarn. Also, who is insulting the staff who is losing their job? Ridiculous. So I came over to the yarn, and as all of you said, it was 50% off. They had restocked some things, which you can see here in the bags, like this cute Juicy Couture yarn, but for the most part, the shelves were pretty bare. And honestly, it felt sad walking through all of these different aisles that I used to love walking through that were filled with yarn, and they're just bare and empty now. See? This was sad. But they did have some yarn still. Again, really not much. This was really all that was left, but they did have some quality yarns here. A lot of 100% merino wool, which I've always wanted to try, so I was excited to see it there. And then a little bit of big twist plush, but definitely no posh. And look how sad. Oh. Okay, I'm back. Before we do our little haul, let's chat about the alternatives for where to shop now that Joann stores are all going to be closed. And I'll kind of go by the different categories. Obviously, the broader in-person craft stores that you can still go to. Michael's is obviously an option, and I believe that they are selling fabric online now. They probably saw an opportunity and wanted to capitalize on that, which I totally get. And if you've watched my other videos, I'm a big fan of Michael's. I enjoy going there. I've always had great experiences with any collabs that I've done with Michael's. I'm a big fan. I actually preferred to go there a lot more, and I shop there much more frequently than I did at Joann. And it's also 20 minutes closer to me than my local Joann was. So for me, shopping at Michael's is great for any craft supplies that I need, but I know that a lot of people depended on Joann for fabric, and I get that, and I'll go into that in a moment. So for just the general craft stores, obviously if you have a locally owned craft store, this is a really great opportunity to support that craft store if you don't already. Locally owned craft stores, I just feel, are not as common nowadays. Let me know if you have a local craft store that you absolutely love. I have a local yarn store. Local, it's about 45 minutes away, but it's wonderful, and I know that a lot of people love those stores and especially love the community that you get in those stores. So of course your local craft store is a great place to go, but the bigger ones, Michael's, if you like Hobby Lobby, that's always an option. And then there's of course just tons of options online. And I know a lot of people like to shop in person for their craft supplies and their yarn, to be able to feel it and see it and know if it's what you want, and I totally get that. I feel like just in the world that we're living in, just online shopping and the online experience is just taking over every facet, including crafting. I get most of my yarn online because I can get the most variety and for the best price. So let's chat about the alternatives for yarn. Definitely the biggest news to come out in the last couple weeks regarding Joann and the closures in the crochet and knitting community is that Hershnerrs will carry big twist products, which is very exciting. I know a lot of people in the crochet community were the most upset about Joann closing because that meant that they couldn't get big twist yarns anymore. Big Twist has a great variety of worsted weight yarns. I have a ton of those, so that will be exciting, but also Big Twist Posh and Big Twist Plush. These came out not that long ago, and they have become beloved yarns in the amigurumi community especially, so this will be very exciting that Hershnerrs will carry them. I looked on their website today when I'm filming this, and they're not on there yet. My guess is they probably have to wait until all Joann stores close until they can start to carry those products. That's just my guess. So I think that we'll probably be looking for a summer release for these on Hershnerrs, but I'll keep you updated. Follow me on Instagram and I'll definitely post the news there when it comes out. So this would be the #1 alternative for Joann yarns, Hershnerrs. If you're looking for other yarns to buy online that you used to buy at Joann, like LionBrand or Bernat, any of the Yarnspirations ones, you can get those directly from the Yarnspirations website, and you can also get them at Michael's. So those are easily found. Also, Wool and the Gang, you can get those directly on their website. And then of course, Hobbii, LoveCrafts, Premier Yarns, they carry just a very wide variety of different yarns that you can easily get online. They're usually for pretty great prices, have sales pretty often. So if you're a fiber artist and worried about yarn, there's tons of great places to get it. Let me know in the comments where your favorite place to shop for yarn is, and maybe I'll compile a master list of everyone's favorites so that you can all check that out. So the next biggest question that I've gotten in my comments is where to shop for fabric now, because Joann really was the largest carrier of easily accessible fabrics in the US. Now, like I said before, Michaels has a spot right on their homepage, on their website, where you can get fabrics from there. As always, if you have any local fabric stores, I think that would be a wonderful first alternative. Again, if you have any local fabric stores that you love, drop them in the comments. I'll add them to a list. But there are a ton of online options for fabric, and I'm not a fabric person, but based on my research, and I'll link all these online shops in the comments, we have Fashion Fabrics, Core, Mood, Stone Mountain, Fabric Store, Linen Lab, Fabric Store. There are a lot of great fabric options for different types of fabrics. Will they be as cheap or as accessible as Joann was? Probably not. And I'm wondering if there will be another store to really step into that space. We'll just have to wait and see. So if you love shopping fabrics, I hope that one of these stores can kind of fulfill that void there that Joann is leaving. I'll drop a few more alternatives for other kind of miscellaneous things in the video description, so be sure to check those out. But let me know your thoughts. Are you sad about Joann closing? Have you kind of moved past it? Or are there other alternatives that you are really excited to try? Or have you always been a bigger Michaels fan like me anyway? And with that being said, I am sad that Joann is closing. I think it was a great place for the crafting community to come together, especially in places where there aren't local craft stores or those opportunities. And I know especially for all the people who worked there and dedicated so much of their time to it, that this is a devastating loss, and my heart just goes out to all of those people and all of the wonderful employees that just made us have such great experiences over the years at Joann. So now let's get into our very last Joann shopping haul. Let's do our little haul. I didn't get that much. Well, I actually got more than I thought that I would, because, you know, the prices at Joann are, I think, high. Like, their normal prices, not on sale. And as you saw from my video, everything was like 50 to 70% off, most of it being 50% off, but it was 50% off the full price, obviously. But the full price I feel like is high. So normally when I would go to Joann, and I would especially shop the home decor, and it was stuff that was a little bit older or maybe out of season, that stuff would be, I feel like, 70% off, and I feel like all of the out of season stuff was 50% off now. So the prices were better before the liquidation, which I know people have complained about before. This isn't anything new, but that's why I didn't get that much. There were cute things that I would have bought if they were like 75% off, but here we are. This is my little haul. I have been needing ribbon, so I got some very pretty ribbons, just floral ones. This one has mushrooms on it, and this one is like a pink lace. And I like to use these on gifts, but also in my hair. I like to use little ribbons, and these will be perfect for that. So this was actually a great price because they're already fairly cheap, and it was 50% off. Got a pink gel pen. I like to use these pink gel pens when I write little notes to y'all if you send me letters, like in my P.O. box. So I needed a new one. And then I did get some yarn. Let me end with the yarn. I got two like crafty kits. I'll just show them real quick because they are for my niece, and she sometimes watches my channel. But her birthday is in the summer, so this will be perfect. Some little craft kits for her. And then I got some yarn. I didn't know if I would get yarn, and like you saw, there just really wasn't much left. They did restock some of the yarns, but there was no Big Twist Posh, which I wasn't surprised about. Pretty much all of the worsted weight acrylic yarns were completely gone. You know, the aisles were very bare, and I get it, they closed this month. But I did get this wool. This is KC, and it's 100% merino wool. This is a worsted weight. I thought it was a pretty color. I've been wanting to get some wool yarn to make socks. Annie from Hooks and Healers has inspired me to make socks. So I got some of this. I got this pink merino wool. This is LionBrand, and I got this green So I'm gonna make pink socks for me and green socks for Mr. Wonder Crochet. So that'll be nice in the winter to have some wool socks, because you know it gets very cold here in Pennsylvania. And then I've been wanting to try this Juicy Couture velvet, very pretty pink yarn. So let me know what I should crochet with this. I was on a velvet kick probably like a year and a half ago, and I haven't made a ton of stuff in velvet since then, but I would love to because I love the way that plushies look in velvet yarn. So let me know what I should make with that. But that's it. That's all I got. I just got 5 skeins of yarn, some ribbon, and some craft kits. Now it was kind of overwhelming, all of the stuff that they had there, I felt like, but I took a while. I was there for probably over an hour just going through the aisles. Obviously a ton of it was empty, but you'd find, like, you know, some little nuggets of good stuff. So if your Joann is still open and you're looking for anything crafty or decor, they had cake decorating stuff, they had cast iron skillets, which if we didn't just buy one, I probably would have bought it because that was a good price, being 50% off. And they did still have a lot of the like toys and craft kits for kids. That section had a lot in there. So that was it. That was my actual last trip to Joann. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any other alternatives that you think that people should check out, definitely leave those in the comments too. And if you'd like to become a member of my Patreon, I post all of my behind the scenes stuff there, any new patterns I'm doing. My patrons see it absolutely first, and you get free patterns and goodies every month. So this is our farewell to Joann. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you real soon.